Hey, it's Jinx. So basically, I'm still getting in questions about my whole experiences with piercings, what it felt like, why I got them, um, how old I was, all that good stuff. And I've answered all of these questions in one video or another, but I guess people just still don't get it. And sorry, I have the hiccups. So I decided to dedicate the entire video just to answering all these questions, giving you my whole overview on my piercings and all that good stuff, and then move on, start doing other videos. Of course, I will continue to do piercing videos on answering the questions if you still send some in, and updating you when I get more piercings, and even tattoos, which will be a while, but it's gonna happen. So let's get started. First piercing I got, most people, was my lobes. First, piercing on lobes, and as you can see, they're now stretched to 00. Um, got those pierced when I was 2 months old, and then they got infected. I kept them out for a while, and then I ended up getting them re-pierced when I turned 6. Um, I mean, when I was little, even then, needles didn't really get to me, and it was nothing. Let's see. Next piercing I got, believe it or not, would have been my nose. You can see it. Got that pierced when I was 12, and it was kind of like a spur of the moment thing. And me and my mom were just sitting there, and she goes, you look really good with the nose piercing. And thought about it, and next day we're off to the eye and got it pierced. Did not hurt getting it pierced this first time. I did have a lot of problems with it. A lot of people do. Losing the jewelry, it was terrible. I finally just lost it after I think 2 weeks of having it in. I lost it, and I went through my spares, and it closed up, and I pierced it again by myself. Well, it seemed fine, but 4 or 5 days later, it was infected. I had to let it close up for a week or two, get it back good enough, and then get it re-pierced professionally. Went through a ton of scar tissue, and it hurt like a whore. But it was worth it. It was definitely the most painful piercing I've gotten. Most people will tell you that nose piercings hurt the most, and it did. Um, let's see. After that, actually, when I went to go get a piercing the second time, I decided to get another piercing. While I was there, I got my second lobes pierced. See right there. That stud. Yeah, I got those pierced. Once again, lobe piercings just never really hurt. Um, After that, I was out of 5 piercings. 2 on each ear, my nose. Um, People were getting a lot of cartilage piercings. One person would get 1, they'd be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna beat you," and get 2. It was stupid, but I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna get 3, and I got 3 on one ear, and I got them all done at once, and I was pretty freaking scared because everybody had told me how much it hurt. But I got it done, and it didn't hurt. The second one always seemed to sting the most, which was weird, but it wasn't even that big a deal. Um, I was at 8 piercings, and I started feeling lopsided, having 5 piercings on one ear and 2 on the other. And so I decided to just screw it and get the other side done. And I got 3 on this side. And I'm like, yeah, I have 6 cartilage piercings. That put me at 11 piercings, and I thought I was all, badass because I had 11 piercings, but, I mean, 10 of them were on my ear, and, yeah, and then I had my nose pierced, and I was like, I want to get a needle piercing. I want to get some needle work done. I haven't gotten a needle piercing yet. All this crap has been done, and so I really thought about what needle piercing I'd want, and I didn't want to get one that like everybody was getting. Everybody was getting their lips pierced. It was just the big thing, getting one of their lips pierced. It wasn't even snake bites. It was just one lip piercing, and nobody had their eyebrow pierced, and I've always thought it was so cool looking. So I decided to get my eyebrow pierced. And I went through a ton of crap because it was hard to pierce minors out here, find someone that would pierce a minor, but we found a place where 13 and up with parents' permission to get pierced. And so I got this pierced in December of 2010. so it hasn't been a year yet. And the jewelry you see now is actually the spikes that they put in when they pierced it. I kept the spikes, and I just recently put them back in. I have tons of other jewelry for it. But yeah. So it was my first needle piercing, and I thought it was amazing. I was so proud to find that needle piercing that put me at 12 piercings. About a week later, everybody's getting their lip pierced, but I thought snake bites would be pretty wicked. So I approached my mom and said, hey, can I get snake bites for Christmas? She thought about it and she said, yeah, we can do that. And talked to my dad about it. He agreed to that and no more facial piercings. Yeah. But so not even 2 weeks after this, when you got my snake bites pierced, this side didn't hurt. This side was the first side she pierced, and when she put the needle through, I got pierced with hoops. When she put the needle through, the hoop, the needle went out before the hoop got all the way in. So she had to put it back in the needle back through the hole that had been pierced. And though it was already pierced, it was kind of like rubbing lemonade. It's kind of like rubbing lemon on an open wound. It just hurt really bad. That's the only part about it that hurt. Other than that, it's just that my lip was swollen for a week. I mean, they always say that when you get one lip piercing, your lip will be kind of swollen a day or two. Getting two, it's just your lip's screwed, and my lip was swollen for a week. I didn't bleed bad. You always bleed bad up here, which is what scares people. It's just a lot of blood, but I didn't bleed bad down here. And the healing process went well. I mean, it hurt from time to time, but it wasn't any big deal. It was worth it. So yeah, that put me at 14 piercings, and my dad had said no more facial piercings, so I'm like, oh god, I can only get ear piercings, so I decided to get my third hole pierced, which is the one where you see with the gun and the skull right there. And that put me at 16 piercings, and by that time, I'd had so many ear piercings, you can't even feel it anymore. And then, that was in January of this year. Had to wait all the way until May, until around my birthday, when I finally decided to just ask my dad if I could get a piercing. I was originally supposed to accept him, as you can see right here, which I will explain to you in a second. But he said no, you can't get septum, it's out of the question. You can get anything with septum, and so And so I said, fine, what about angel bites? And he thought about it, made me show him pictures, all that good stuff, and he agreed. And so, in May, which was 2 months ago, I got angel bites, and did not hurt, just didn't. Everybody told me that angel bite piercings hurt so bad, but honestly, snake bites hurt worse. I'm not saying don't get snake bites, but if you can choose between the two, get angel bites because they don't hurt more. It's just depending on your pain threshold. So yeah, and I've only had these for 2 months and all that good stuff. Now, as for my septum, it's kind of weird because I have 18 piercings, all real, but I have one fake piercing, and that would be my septum. As you can see. Yeah. And yes, it's fake, and I'm fully aware of that. It's kind of stupid for someone who has so many actual piercings to put in a fake piercing, but it's kind of just like that thing. I can't control it. My parents will let me get it pierced. I like the look of it, so I did what I had to do to make it look like I at least had it pierced. Yeah. So, I hope that answers your questions about, my piercings and junk. People have a lot of questions about stretching. Couple things I can tell you. People say it's not supposed to bleed. Screw that, okay? You're stretching an ear. Say you want to go to 0. I'm at a double 0, but say you want to go to 0. You're stretching an ear, gradually on the right, along the way. You start off with a hole the size of a sewing needle, and you're stretching it to the size of a pen cap. That's just, no, it's gonna bleed. If it bleeds profusely for more than 2 to maybe 3 days, that's when you know you've done something wrong. But dude, it's gonna bleed the first day or 2. Don't use acrylic. It harbors a lot of germs, and it just hurts to gauge with. Yeah. you need to space out the stretching. I'd say 3 weeks. I know that I'm a hypocrite because I was gauging every 2 weeks. But 3 weeks. Just give your ears time to heal. I didn't do that for mine. My ears turned out perfectly fine, but just don't risk it because not everybody's the same. For the future, besides piercings, I have a lot of body modifications in plan. I'm considering shaving half of my head or getting a death talk. I think that's what it's called. I'm not exactly sure yet. Other than that, I'm just gonna keep growing it out and dye it all black. Blonde's not really working for me. I'm gonna get tons of tattoos on 1 3/4 sleeve, one on the back of my neck, calf, ankle, across my knuckles. I have so many plans for body modification. Body is canvas, and I believe you're allowed to make it as beautiful as you want it to, even if other people don't agree with it. So I hope that answered all your questions, and send in any more that you have. Peace out, Gothic Love.